Hello, I've got two lovely books for you for this month. The first is one of the Buttercup Magic stories, A Mystery for Megan by Abby Burlingham, and this is a Piccadilly Press book. And for perhaps slightly older readers in this age group, by Guy Bass, the wonderful writer Guy Bass, and this is a Stitchhead book called The Pirate's Eye, and this is by Stripes Publishing. More about that in a minute. In the first book, for slightly younger readers, A Mystery for Megan by Abby Burlingham, Megan, the title, is about to move house with her parents to Buttercup House. She doesn't really know what to expect. I'm just going to read a little bit from the very beginning of the book. The first chapter is called Things Megan Didn't Know. Megan was 9, and for a 9-year-old there were lots of things she knew. She knew all the primary colours and her times tables up to 10. She could make the best cheese toasties in the world, and she knew that if you got bored, you should use your imagination. Her mum was always telling her so. She could count to 29 in French and knew how to knit long scarves for Flopsy, her favourite snuggly bunny, because her mum had taught her. The only thing she couldn't do was cast on and cast off, because those bits were too difficult, even for a 9-year-old who knew lots of things. But there were also lots of things that Megan didn't know. She didn't know that she would be moving to Buttercup House, and she didn't know that there were mice who lived there who seemed to be able to tell the time. She didn't know about the mysterious black cat and beautiful golden dog, and she didn't know that the little girl, Freya, who lived next door, would become her best friend. And she had no idea why Buttercup House was called Buttercup House. So, of course, to find out all these things, you'll need to read this lovely book. It's beautifully written. Megan moves to Buttercup House, and she does see the mice, she does see the cat and the dog, and she does become friends with the little girl next door, Freya. And Freya has the most wonderful granny who helps the girls in all sorts of ways. The story's, as I say, it's beautifully written, it's very warm-hearted, and it has this lovely idea of animals as protectors of children. I do hope you'll enjoy it. Now, for slightly older children in this age group, by, as I say, the wonderful Guy Bass. He's a fantastic writer, great fun. This is one of the Stitchhead books, and this is called The Pirate's Eye. And I'm going to read again from very near the beginning so that you can actually hear a little bit about how Stitchhead came to be. Yesteryear, what a wonderful time it was. Yesteryear was filled with song and cheer, with funny hats and moustaches and horses pulling carts, with cobbled streets and expressions like "Lawks a mussy" and "Hook and snivy." Yes, all in all, yesteryear was just about the most charming time to be alive. Unless you lived in the small town of Grubbers Nubbin, that is. For in Grubbers Nubbin, even on the brightest day, a dark shadow fell upon the town, the shadow of Castle Grotesque. High on a hill above the town loomed the castle. It had loomed there since before anyone could remember. The castle was home to the maddest of mad professors, Mad Professor Erasmus. For more years than it is possible to count on 4 people's fingers, the professor had busied himself creating hundreds of monstrous, unearthly creatures. The very first of his creations was a small, almost human creature that the professor had named Stitchhead. So, of course, we read previously how Stitchhead became into being in the previous book. But in this book, Stitchhead feels that the part of him is actually a pirate, and he feels like he wants to go to sea. And when he receives a letter telling him that his professor, who he adores actually, has gone missing, he's gone, he's left the castle, Stitchhead actually sees it's this time when perhaps he can actually head for the open seas. But things aren't always as they seem, and very soon he and his pals realise that they're going to have to rescue the professor. Very exciting, very funny, terrific fun, a real page-turner. I do hope you enjoy both these books and the fun activities that I've written to accompany them.